Team Fortress 2, a video game about shooting each other with rocket launchers, shotguns, flamethrowers, baseball bats, literal laser beams, all whilst trying to push a bomb, secure secret documents, and, of course, fancy hats. Dungeons and Dragons, a tabletop game about fantasy creatures meeting in taverns, clearing out rats, toppling an entire kingdom to regicide, all whilst trying not to piss off an omnipotent god. What could these possibly have in common? Well, the past 6 months, I've been writing a book that shows just that.
Valve does not make average games that no one's to play. Half-Life, Dota, Portal, always racking in the bank.
No.
Team and Pool up in game crew is broken instantly. But it seemed that went and created steam. Was it worth the wait? Oh, here is Team Fortress, second Team Fortress.
Hats and games and unusual sprees.
Team Fortress, second Team Fortress. On foot, breakboard, lockboard, hotboard.
Met and rage with funky random grid. Mad gaps, intercept, sticky trap, perfect maps.
Team Fortress, second Team Fortress. There's one and others again with second Team Fortress.
Have fun.
I only have 3 loves in this world. A 16-year-old game, math that is disguised with shiny rocks, and Sesame Chicken from Panda Garden. But that one closed out when I was in elementary school, so we are not going to talk about that. For most of my life, the majority of my free time has been taken up by Team Fortress 2 and Dungeons and Dragons. 2 activities that arguably are very different. One is a war-themed hat simulator, and the other one caused me to roleplay as a cat for 2 years. Don't judge me, I tried to kill him so many times, but instead he somehow became a god of chaos. Getting back to the point, 6 months ago, I came across the idea, and I combined the 2. The mercenaries canonically know and play D&D, although know is probably a strong word for them.
The amulet kills all of you.
Stop picking up the frickin' amulet!
We might be pretending we're in fairyland, milady, but we are still playing in America!
I've also been homebrewing for a long time now, and I felt like I had the skills to do it. So, I wrote a book, Monsters and Mercenaries. Monsters and Mercenaries simply is a guide on how to import various parts of Team Fortress 2 into Dungeons and Dragons. This includes 40 pages of content, which I'm going to quickly summarize here. The first part of the book goes over learning how to play each mercenary as a subclass in Dungeons and Dragons. For those of you who don't play a lot of D&D, a subclass is basically a specialty that you choose when deciding what you want to play. For example, a rogue class is a master of stealth, sleight of hand, sneak attacks, and getting blamed for all the party's problems. The new spy subclass I introduced doubles down on the stealth and sneak attacks by giving you new abilities as you level up, such as being able to sabotage magical artifacts or turning invisible on the fly. Another example is the Artificer, a class that normally creates magical items and can repair equipment, whereas the new Demo Man subclass from TF2 focuses on destruction and can wield a massive sword at the same time. These new subclasses basically aim to give new playstyles and synergies in D&D, while also taking massive inspiration from TF2, trying to remain true to the characters' designs. Team Fortress 2 as a video game plays very differently from Dungeons & Dragons with how you approach your goals. In TF2, each match is centered around an objective, such as capping control points, pushing payloads, or capturing intelligence. These are just the main ones. I know you can beat up a big guy. This kind of activity generally is not found in D&D adventures or modules, but this section shows you how to do so, such as explaining payload movement speed, or what the intelligence can be in the context of fantasy. And this is just the main objective. TF2 also has a lot of nuanced elements that are not present in D&D at all, so I created a bunch of optional rules, such as respawning or using a team-based initiative. But D&D is more than just rules and numbers. The point of D&D is to create a world, a play space, if you will, for your players to tell a story. And luckily enough, TF2 has a lot of lore to work with, and borrow in your campaigns. Lore such as locations, people, historical events, and so much more. I provide you with many examples of plot hooks and premises to use, such as the idea of 2 factions fighting in a forever war that can only be stopped by a band of mercenaries, or a kleptocracy that keeps a tight grip on everything produced across the land that must be brought down, or Mad Milk. Yeah, you could add Mad Milk to your tavern menus. I don't know what you would, but you could. In addition, depending on how well received this book is, I will expand more on this world building, creating written out campaigns and one-shots for DMs to use easily. Speaking of future content, another piece of content I mentioned here but hope to expand on in the future is weapons. The thing about TF2 is there are over 160 weapons in the game. That's a lot more than I could put into a simple guide. So my plan for that is to release free weapon supplements for this book, which will periodically give you more and more homebrew weapons to use and sell in your shops. This is also tangential to how well this book does, so if you're excited to see that, remember to show your support, whether it be by paying for this book, subscribing to my Patreon, even just subscribing.
You have a manner of irresistible desperation about you.
Going back to Mercenaries and Monsters, the last chapter addresses NPCs. Here, I've made character stat blocks for many of the major NPCs and enemies in TF2 to add to your adventures, such as Saxon Hale, an Australian CEO who can and will sucker punch a Yeti for fun, or Marasmus the Magician, an eldritch being capable of creating new realities and also roommate to Soldier, or Archimedes. I don't think I need to elaborate more on that one. So yeah, I wrote a Dungeons & Dragons book for Team Fortress 2. You can go ahead and buy it now in the link in the description, paying whatever you want for the book, whether it be free or $10. This is also only version 1 of the book. Despite working on it for half a year, I may have messed up on some parts, whether that be poor balancing, typos, or any mistakes in the book. And if you see any of those, or just want to share how much you enjoyed it, please contact me. I will hopefully be releasing free patches to this book for anyone that buys it. So yeah, how do I end the video? Is that it?